Well, let's talk about Dynamite. So it opened with an awesome match. Cody Rhodes and Sammy Guevara. And they had a great, great ladder match. You know what I liked about it, too? Was they wrestled a lot in it. It was a wrestling match with a ladder. And, some of these ladder matches that you see, there's like 5,000 spots, 5,000 stunts. And when the match is over, it's like, name one of them. And you think about it, you're like, oh, yeah, I remember that one. And then, but there's like so many that you can't even remember off the top of your head. Not this one. There were 3. One of them was a delayed, not just a superplex off like the third rung from the top of a tall ladder, a delayed superplex off the top of the ladder. There was a double, I can't call it a springboard because there's no spring, but a double jump cutter from one ladder to another by Sammy Guevara, which was awesome. And then the old Jeff Hardy senton off the top of a very tall ladder onto a dude on a ladder bridge. The ladder bridge decided to go into business for itself and not break. It almost killed both guys. Those were like the 3 big spots in the match. It gave you time to breathe in the middle of these crazy spots. You didn't forget them. And at the end, Sammy whacked him in the head with the belts, knocked him off the ladder, climbed up. He is the unified North American champion. Man, this match was great. Great, great opener.
I'm glad you mentioned how well-paced it was.
Yes.
Because it really was great, and it was well-paced, and I think everybody has seen the gif now of that double jump from Sammy going over the ladder and, dropping that cutter on Cody, which Cody, everything about it was perfect. I don't know if you do that 9 more times if you're able to get it that perfect and get the aesthetic that right. My God, they did. And everybody's going to talk about that, but in some ways that delayed vertical suplex by Cody onto Sammy was almost more impressive. I would say certainly as impressive, and a tragedy averted too, because as Sammy is getting suplexed over, they have that hanger holding those belts. And you could hear it in Tony's voice. I don't know if he saw it or if he was just selling it, but I think he saw it, where Sammy is on the top. They're at the top of that ladder, and they're going back. And Sammy's foot could have gotten caught in that hanger. It honestly could have. Thankfully, it didn't. It was a spectacular visual. There were several of them, like Brian mentioned. The whole deal with the back, Sammy's back on the ladder on Cody, and the way he bent. He is certainly going to be sitting in a tub of ice this morning, but a huge success for both guys. What a way to kick off the show. What a way to kick off Sammy's second title reign as well.
We had Wardlow winning a 2-on-1 handicap match, massively over in his hometown. We had the Inner Circle beating Daniel Garcia in 2.0. The story of the match was Santana Ortiz are upset at Jericho. They refuse to tag him in. They're basically doing a 2-on-3 match. At the end of the match, Jericho's all frustrated. He just leaves ringside. He leaves the apron, but he's on the floor, and so he manages to give the back elbow to Matt Lee, and then Matt Lee ends up getting pinned. And then Jericho on the ramp stares down Santana and Ortiz. The story is, hey, you guys thought you could do this without me. I'm the one that won the match. So the dissension between these 3 continues. They announced Lance Archer and Hangman Page will do a Texas death match in 2 weeks. We have Jurassic Express and the Hardy Family Office. It'll be Private Party getting a championship match on Rampage. We won't do any spoilers today, but that's going to be one of the big matches on the show. Great segment with CM Punk and MJF. All you nerds that cried about how dare I criticize the stuff they'd done with Wardlow and CM Punk, well, they talked their way back into it. And the big news is they are going to do the match next week in Chicago. It is CM Punk versus MJF. And they had a fantastic. Did I mention the word fantastic? You know what it was? It was stupendous. The talking segment they had back and forth. And next week, the first match. I presume the first of many.
Can you rewind back for a second? Is there anything I may have missed on Rampage or anything like that where Lance Archer challenged Hangman Page to a Texas death match?
No, he challenged him on this show.
I know. That's what just gets me is they actually had a video package ready to go, and it's like, why would the Hangman actually accept this other than he's a champion? But
he's a champion, that's why.
The way it was done in the video where it's like, did he say Texas death match? And I know that's part of the gimmick, but it's like, I don't know. It kind of felt like a hat on a hat for no reason because it's like just have the match. Lance Archer's been killing people. They've been going at each other. I didn't think it was necessary. I mean, making it no DQ would have been fine, but I mean, to me, it's like you gimmicked it up kind of extra for.
I'll tell you
why is that no for this blood feud? The blood feud between Archer and Page.
It's simple. It's simple. Okay. Why was I upset about when Lance Archer laid out Hangman on the first week, and then Hangman sent him packing on week 2? Why was I upset about that? Do you remember?
Not enough heat on Archer?
Because Archer needs all the help he can get because no one in their right mind, no one. You want to do a poll? Don't do it on my Twitter.
But I know where you're going with
because
that. Because
Lance's
Texas
specialty
Death Match, because it's his match?
The specialty for Lance Archer is the Texas Death Match. So literally, like, maybe 5 fans now will think, oh, it's his specialty, so he can beat Hangman if it's a Texas Death Match. You don't do a Texas Death Match? Like, 0. There's nobody that thinks that this guy's going to beat the Hangman.
Well,
that, I think, is why they did it.
I know, and I don't want to say, and I shouldn't have said don't do the match right there, but you need to do then a better job of building that match. I don't know. To me, it's a jump start that is unnecessary because you might need that Texas Death Match, down the line. You might want to have Archer and somebody else. You might want to have a gimmick match for the world title that's built up and meant more. I mean, to me, it's just a waste of doing something that didn't need to be done when the result is probably not in doubt anyway. But that's, again, those are just nits being picked.
So after the MJF Wardlow segment, or MJF and Punk segment, MJF sends his goons down to the ring, and they beat up CM Punk, and he commands Wardlow to powerbomb him onto the chair. So MJF's plan is, yes, I'm going to take this match in Chicago next week, but I made sure that my guys badly injured him going into the match. Acclaim called out John Moxley. Anthony Bowens will face Moxley on Friday. No spoilers on this show. Layla Hirsch beat Red Velvet. I think the less said about this match, the better. It was quite not good. Preposterously booked, poorly wrestled, and Layla Hirsch won, and then looks like they're going to Layla Hirsch and Chris Statlander. Britt Baker did a promo, which was just, there were so many weird things about this promo. So literally, the whole promo, she's a champion, and we don't know who her next challenger is going to be. They did the whole promo, and never once, she never called anyone out, nor did anyone come out and challenge her or anything like that. The whole promo was just her putting herself over and burying Cleveland. The problem was she was blaming, or first off, these fans, they're heckling her, but then she goes, D, and they all cheer, DMD. And then, she's burying Cleveland, they boo her. And then she talks about how she's the greatest, and they go, yeah, you are the greatest, and they cheer. Then she's trying to get heat by burying this bloke named Baker Mayfield, because her last name is Baker, and she's talking about how she's the better Baker, which actually be, Anyway, so I've been told...
She is, though.
I don't know anything about football, but I was told by a bunch of people, they texted me this morning, they go, a lot of people in Cleveland actually don't like Baker Mayfield, so she's burying him, and now they're cheering her again, so it's just up and down this whole promo, and then it was over.
They ain't getting Russell Wilson. Stop that. Be happy with what you got.
So, Rampage Friday. No spoilers. John Moxley versus Anthony Bowens. FTR versus Lee Johnson and Brock Anderson. Jade Cargill versus Julia Hart. And Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus versus Private Party for the titles.
Sensing a trend here. Just sensing one. I don't know.
People get so mad at the idea of hearing spoilers for Rampage, and it's like, do you turn your own brain off for 3 days? Do you not allow yourself to think of the card before the show airs? Anyway, main event was an unsanctioned lights out match. Orange Cassidy and Adam Cole. Cassidy.
Back for more cash, baby.
He's got a lot of money after his win over Adam Cole in this unsanctioned match. And I'll talk more about this tonight, but I didn't like the finish. Way too goofy for me. And what's funny is, you ever listen to Lance on this show?
I have.
Lance Storm?
Yeah.
I don't like to put Lance over because he gets a big old head. But what I like about Lance is, if Lance doesn't like something, he'll tell you what he doesn't like about it, and then he'll tell you how they could have done it better. You know what I'm saying?
It's a good idea.
Yeah. So that's what I'm going to do tonight. I'm going to tell you what I didn't like about it, but what they could have done to just make it better. So anyway, Orange Cassidy won at Beach Break, because that's the name of his move, which he didn't use at the end. But anyway, he won, and so the feud appears to be over for the time being. And listen, I don't know what they're going to do with this pay-per-view, but and listen, I've thought I didn't like things before, and they've managed to make it work. But in no universe do I beat Adam Cole, even in an I know people go, that doesn't count on the record. He got beaten here. I don't do that if he's going to be facing the champion at the pay-per-view. Maybe he is. Maybe they have a way to rehab him or whatever, but, I mean, he was undefeated going into this, and yes, technically he's still undefeated, but he's been beaten. And I wouldn't have done that if he's challenging Hangman for the title in March, which is, 5 weeks away. But we'll see what they end up doing, but that was the match.
Are you surprised you're not taking a victory lap for opening up the forbidden door and once again showing everybody that the path to AEW goes through Bryan Alvarez, whether it be in the ring or on this very show?
I wanted to talk about Danhausen after the break, but Maria's on. And plus, I'm just disgusted by this whole Oreo the Orca. Now all of a sudden he's his best friend.
I know it.
It is Wrestling Observer Live today. I'm Oreo the Orca.
Do you have a blowhole rating system? Like if you're really excited about a match, it gives you 6 squirts?
This match was 2 3/4 holes, if you must know. So I was watching this show, and they had a bunch of videos for this Liv Morgan about how, my whole life I've been a wrestling fan. I'm going to win my first title ever. There's children cheering and going, oh. You know what I'm saying? Okay.
I do indeed.
Hey, Danhausen, can you hear us?
Yes, can you hear Danhausen?
Hey, look at that. Holy
Hey.
Mother of God, look what we've done here. You broke a leg, is that true?
It was broken in half, snapped in two. The doctor said it was a tibia and a fibia.
I'm a whale and not a doctor, but is it not a fibula and not a fibia?
A fibula? What I know. Perhaps the doctor lied to Danhausen.
Danhausen, if you were a whale, you wouldn't have broken your leg.
This is true because whales don't have legs.
What did you grow up watching as a little evil man?
Kane ripping off the door when he debuted.
Yes. How old were you, Danhausen, when that match took place?
About, what was that, 1997, so about 700 years old.
Oh.
Also, one time Danhausen had Dolph Ziggler's theme song as his alarm and it went off in class.
No, he didn't.
Yes, it's true. Danhausen likes Dolph Ziggler. You like Dolph Ziggler? He's good matches.
If you enjoy these videos, for just $7.99 per month, you can enjoy full-length editions of The Bryan and Vinny Show, Wrestling Observer Live, Figure 4 Daily with Tom Lawler and Lance Storm, the Mad Men Podcast, Speak Now Pro Wrestling with Denise Salcedo, and more, plus hundreds of archived shows, all in beautiful HD. Don't miss out. Join us today.